I'm just going to spin.
You're just going to spin? I can help you, Eliza, if you just let me help you with your chair.
You're already doing so much, Shelley, as Hy was just telling us.
Okay, so in deciding to come out, obviously it wasn't a simple matter of making the declaration. I wanted to use my public capital in a way that would best facilitate change and understanding, certainly within my community of country music, where there had never before been a discussion about anything gay. Well, the caveat to that is, yes, there had been discussion about gay things on country radio, but it was always followed with a ba-dum-bump. It was always a joke.
Shelley, maybe before you go into the planning thing, like what were those things that you were hearing? What was that experience that you got all these signals over time? Can you tell us just a little bit about how aware were you of that at the time when you were hearing it and when you were hiding?
Yeah.
What did you take in?
The things that I heard, Eliza, during my career, and we all know what I heard as a kid in Kansas. Do I need to go into that? You know, in a small town in Kansas, in a conservative Christian farming town, I don't have to tell you what I heard, you know. But in the country music community, what I was hearing, I would go into radio stations from not just the South. Country music is played coast to coast, north to south, Bakersfield to Schenectady. It's everywhere. And is that a Schenectady or a Bakersfield fist pump? I would go into a radio station, go live on the air. You know, say I had a show that night in a neighboring town. I would go to the radio station to do the morning show, to plug my show. And I would be there with my record label promotion guy and my manager, and we'd go in to do the show. And then when we're off the air, this would happen so often that the disc jockey would be telling gay jokes. And the disc jockey would be telling gay jokes with my record label rep. And I felt incredibly fearful and trapped, and a lot of shame that I didn't try to stop it, and a lot of shame that I didn't say, stop, that's who I am. Obviously, I've dealt with that shame, and I'm still dealing with that. Mm-hmm. But I heard, I heard a lot of negative reinforcements about people like me. And it was not on occasion, it was on a daily basis. And, as Kai mentioned, I detail my story in my book, and it was a painful experience to write all of that down, but it was to the point of I had employees that I rode around on my tour bus for years. They sat on my bus. These are people that I paid, and gay jokes were flying all over every day. And that was the world in which I existed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then that moment came, and you started thinking about what that next step would be like. What was the moment that you said, okay, I got to do this. I'm going to do this?
The moment that I knew I had to do it was I had a breakdown in early 2006, which I now call a breakthrough. But I hit my... I hit my rock bottom, and I'm imagining that some of you in this room have had that tipping point. And I found myself with a loaded 9mm gun in my mouth. It's a bit easier to talk about in a book. That's a solitary experience when you're typing it, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It was a cold winter day in Nashville, and I realized that the life that I had carved out was a false life. I had everything I had ever imagined that I wanted in my life. I had relative health. I had success. I was one of the few that moves to Nashville, and I got that record deal. And I put that album out, and I put many albums out, and I got a hit record, and I won awards, and I was a pin-up poster girl, and people clapped for me when I did my job, and that's awesome. But I The hiding was killing me. I had had a partner, a woman with whom I shared a home and dogs and a fish tank and gardens and a life and a love, and that hiding ripped us apart. And I hit my rock bottom, and I realized I've painted myself very masterfully in a corner. So on perhaps the coldest day of 2006, I went upstairs to the 3rd floor of my house, and can you all hear my heart beating on this body mic? I got the 9mm gun that I own, and I took it downstairs to the foyer of my home in Nashville, Tennessee. And I've got a beautiful 100-year-old home, and in the fireplace mantle there's a beautiful beveled mirror. And I put the gun in my mouth. I looked into the mirror, and I positioned my thumb on the trigger. And I wasn't just thinking about doing it. I was ready to do it. This was a done deal. And as a Christian, I know that this is the thing you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to take your life. I want to be clear with you that I was not about to commit suicide because I'm gay. Let me be clear with you on that. I had reconciled with God years ago that I am just as God made me. I knew that for sure. The reason I was about to pull the trigger is because I had screwed up my situation so badly, I didn't know how to get out of it. I am a master planner, you see. When you hide as strategically as we hide, I had always found a way to, okay, this is how I'll do this, and then I'll do that, and then I've always figured out a way to get myself from point A to point B. I'll leave Wellsville, Kansas, I'll go to Nashville, I'll get a record deal, I'll do this and I'll do that. I'm really good at figuring out a plan. For the first time in my life, I could not figure out how to get myself out of this incredibly, just insane situation. So I was going to take my life because I had made a mess of my life, not because I'm gay.